your resume. But civil rights makes somebody read your resume.
National Action Network engages people. We engage people every day on the ground. We engage our state legislators, our national legislators in the capitals of cities and in Washington, D.C. We, of course, engage corporate leaders and seek to hold them responsible and accountable to communities across this country.
Our chapters are often our first line of defense in dealing with issues on the ground and creating a grassroots movement to respond to issues. Our chapters work together with our national staff to ensure that communities are protected against injustices and treated fairly.
And again, we do that because we're on the ground. We do that because we know that every Saturday morning we hold rallies at the National Action Network. We get feedback from the regular, everyday person that's on the ground in cities across this country, because the rally is also webcast all across the nation. It's broadcast on radio in the tri-state area of New York City. So we really stay in touch, and we know that that's important, because it's always important to know where your base is at, the people that you ultimately represent. And because we have a connection to those people, we have the ears of those who are both elected to represent them and who serve them in terms of the businesses and services that they offer consumers across this country. So we are relevant, and that's why they listen.
Well, as Director of Membership for National Action Network, one of my primary focuses within the organization is to engage our members on a national level. We have over 30,000, and the organization is still growing. We have over 60 chapters now, and it's important that our members become active members of the organization, not just supporting us from a distance, but to really become active participants of change. And so that's what we gear to increase and to promote.
Well, we have 4 initiatives right now. One of them is the Higher Education Awareness and Dropout Prevention Initiative. We know that minorities and low-income students have been underrepresented in colleges and universities for a matter of decades. And we also know that most of the new jobs that will be created will require some type of post-secondary education. So we have a series of workshops and mentoring programs geared toward bridging the gap, getting more young people that post-secondary education credentials. Number 2, dropout prevention. A high school dropout is twice as likely to be unemployed. And so we know that it's imperative that we stop this dropout epidemic in this country. So we try to construct programming to address that need as well. 7,000 students drop out of high school each day, more than 1 million a year.
And Education for a Better America has been really influential on the ground to really bolster relationships between policymakers, between educators, parents, teachers, and students to really make a large impact in the schools, in the school systems that we service on a daily basis in urban communities. So one of the goals is to engage these members. Education is definitely the 21st century civil rights issue.
We are up earliest in the morning and we go to bed last at night. We leave no stone unturned, and we respond to every call in a timely and immediate fashion. We try to plan ahead and we try to see the future so we know what moves need to be made. I think what makes us the best, what makes us a leading organization, is that we believe in the work, we take it seriously, and we do it diligently.
Most significantly, we organized the 50th anniversary March on Washington, the national action to realize the Dream March that took place in August.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Our year really started out when we recreated the march from Selma to Montgomery for the right to vote. It was recreated the 1965 March for Voting Rights Act. That is when John Lewis and other activists who crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge was met by the billy clubs of Alabama state troopers and beat back. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. came in several weeks, and they successfully, with the help of National Guardsmen, successfully was able to march from Montgomery to Selma, Alabama. The beating on that bridge forced the President of the United States to realize at the time to make sure that Black Americans, and therefore all Americans, had the unequivocal right to vote was now. Dr. King in Montgomery during that march said the urgency of the matter was now, the time was now, when he said how long, not long, and that was what had to happen.
When we voted for Johnson, we had ID when we voted for Nixon. We had ID when we voted for those that succeeded him: Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush again. Why, when we get to Obama, do we need some special ID?
Well, being the daughter of Reverend Al Sharpton, who is the leading civil rights and social justice advocate in this nation, I'm really the direct lineage of a strong support system, of a community believing in me, of a community empowering me since I was a young child, really promoting and encouraging me to be anything that I wanted to be, and supporting me in all of my ideas and my dreams, to really help to push me up to lead from a young age, and instilling in me that I had a strong support system, that I had a strong base, that I had a strong foundation, that I had a strong cultural awareness of who I am, of where I came from.
And National Action Network has a House of Justice. It was dedicated and named by one of the mentors of Reverend Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson. And we try to live up to the meaning of that name, the House of Justice. And every Saturday we hold a community rally that is broadcast throughout the nation, both on internet and on radio. We make sure that people can come there that are looking for help, that need assistance, that are looking for referrals. We hold a monthly legal night in order to give people in our community an affordable way to get direction on some of the legal challenges that face them in a community. All of our chapters duplicate those efforts in many ways, which is how we stay connected to the communities that we serve. We try to know what the needs are within that community, and we try to help people meet those needs.
My goal is to turn demonstration into legislation. Legislation needs to be passed to restore the Voting Rights Act, and also to protect people from racial profiling and egregious laws like Stand Your Ground and policies like Stop and Frisk. In order to do that, we will demonstrate, but the end goal has to be legislation to ensure that our communities are protected.
We see a new America. We see an America of equality, of justice, of fairness. We march because we're going to bring a new America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice, not for some, not for who you choose, not for who you like, but for all. We believe in a new America. It's time to march for a new America. It's time to organize for a new America. It's time to register and vote for a new America. We're on our way. We're on our way. We're on our way.